Hello, sports fans. Welcome to VIP SportsNet. Today, Jim Sproul, Michael Dugan here with you today. We're going to be looking at the AFC North and our predictions for the outlook on the 2019 season. Michael, who do you have in fourth place in the division?
I have the Cincinnati Bengals.
Wow, what a surprise.
Yes. Long-term coach, Marvin Lewis, he's gone after 16 years. Andy Dalton, I think this is his last year. If he doesn't prove himself, I can see him drafting a quarterback in the draft. And they already hit with the injury bug. AJ Green, he's out for the 6 games.
Yes.
And, I'm looking at the roster and, he threw, Andrew Yarden threw for 21 touchdowns and just 2,500 yards, and that doesn't make in the NFL. I'm sorry. And
no.
Their wide receiver had a career high of 7 touchdown passes as a career high. But I don't see it. I'm not seeing the vision of the Bengals. Injury prone and new coach coming in, a new philosophy. But I'm seeing them being 5-11 this year. I don't know what you're seeing in them.
You know what? This may be, outside of the Dolphins, this may be one of the worst teams in the league. They had a 26th ranked offense last year, and they were dead last in the league in defense. They got a new coach coming in, Zach Taylor. They really do things different. They spent $59 million re-signing their own free agents. That's more than twice the rest of the teams in their division did. You look at their additions, and all I see is basically, right guard John Miller.
Right.
So where's, I guess the draft, the Marquise Brown, and I guess they think that's going to be the I don't know. Excuse me, not Marquise Brown. But when I look at these guys, I see, Geno Atkins, the defensive tackle, 10 sacks. But Joe Mixon was a bright spot for them, the running back out of Oklahoma. He was actually 4th in the league in rushing last year, 1,168 yards. And he's not making any money. He's still on that. He was a second-round pick, so he's...
And his average is 4.9 yards a carry, plus
explosive.
8 touchdowns. That's...
That's their lone bright spot, because you look like you're talking about the aforementioned Andy Dalton. That guy's 32 years old. It's like he's not like a young guy anymore. He may be in his football prime, but I just don't see a lot of a talent addition.
I don't. And that's what I'm saying. 5-11, unless you have more wins than I do, but I don't see it.
I can't see it. It's going to be easy to put them dead last.
And then my other team I have not so good in AFC North is the Baltimore Ravens.
Wow. I can't believe you went there because, they won the division last year.
Yeah, but you get rid of, the key people they lost, Joe Flacco, out of nowhere, just trade him to Denver, which I know Denver is happy to have him, but they quarterbacks only combined for only 18 passing yard touchdown. You can't win any games, and you take 12 of them came from Flacco, so you get rid of him. You got, I know they brought in Mark Ingram and Earl Thomas. Last time we saw Earl Thomas was being carted off the field, flipping off his other team. So
but they did have quite the talent purge there.
Yeah.
They got rid of almost all their linebackers. They lost C.J. Mosley, Terrell Suggs, Zadarius Smith. They got rid of safety Eric Weddle. Joe Flacco. I'm like, okay, that's a lot of experience, but they're pinning a lot of their hopes on Lamar Jackson here. I don't see it.
No, Lamar Jackson had more rushing touchdowns than as he did as a quarterback. He ran for over 1,200 yards.
Yeah, I can't see him continuing to do that. You can't be a quarterback and run in this league for very long.
And it's kind of funny. The person that used to do that is on their team is RG3,
who's hurt.
So why would you want to do that to your quarterback you have now? Because it could happen. I'm just saying.
Well, you're going to see with him at quarterback and him not being a threat to really pass, you're going to see 8 men in a box a lot to stop that nonsense. They'll have to go a lot of play action, but
I still have them going 9-7, but I just don't see the AFC North for the Baltimore Ravens this year. I see him more looking for the future draft picks coming up.
But oddly enough, they were ninth in the league in offense,
Right?
but they were first in defense, and I'm like, how long can they just shut people down like they do? How much longer can they get away with that with all the throwing in their league? But their running backs, they got Gus Edwards and they drafted Justice Hill. The quarterback they took a flyer on in the 6th round, the Penn State kid Trace McSorley, they seem to really like him. And
granted, you do have Earl Thomas coming back, but he's coming off from a pretty bad leg injury.
He's not going to be expected to carry the mail all that much. They're going to alternate backs. Most teams do.
And then you see how Mark Ingram does. Seeing how he comes back. See how he does in a new environment. So
yeah, I don't know. They did it last year. These other teams were in turmoil and they took advantage of it, but they're just so strong defensively, man. But they lost their entire linebacking core, so we'll see.
Well, guys, we're going to take a break right now, and when we come back, we're going to finish the last two teams in the AFC North. Please stay tuned. Welcome back, sports fans. Jim and Mike here talking about the AFC North. Jim, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers third in the division.
Second,
my bad. 10-6, that's my prediction.
Wow.
Big Ben throwing for over 5,000 yards, 34 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. But he's 37 years old. He's getting up there in in football life, in injury. And they do have the fourth total offense and, the 6th in defense. But they lost the running back, they lost AB. Where do you see them?
Well, I got the Browns at second.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on them boys. First year coach Freddie Kitchens, the additions of Odell Beckham, Olivier Vernon, Sheldon Richardson, brought in defensive back, Morgan Burnett, running back Kareem Hunt, even though he's going to miss 4 games to suspension. And, they didn't really lose anything except, they traded off Jabril Peppers and Kevin Zeichler and Duke Johnson. But I see them as the second team. They led the league in missed tackles last year. The team strength is obviously supposed to be Baker Mayfield with his receiving core of, Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry. You got Nick Chubb back, rookie. Last year, rushed for 996 yards, and wide receiver Rashard Higgins, and the tight ends look good. The defense, the Myles Garrett, Sheldon Richardson, Olivier Vernon. Those boys should really help bad run defense there. They should stop some of the missed tackles. But yeah, I decided to go with them. They were 13th in the league in offense and 30th in defense. Still don't see the defense to be in top 10, and I just don't like the personalities in that room, man.
Well, there's a lot of egos. I have them going number 1. I have them 13-3, making it to the playoffs for the first time. Mayfield coming off a great rookie year. Will he be an MVP award candidate? I don't know. Beckham, he has a lot to prove. Come from New York into Cleveland,
All that baggage for
all the baggage, but. I am drinking the Kool-Aid of all the NFL fans. I like to see Cleveland actually in the playoffs. Last year they went 7-8-1. And I just am believing that Cleveland will be better than they were last year. Even if I'm wrong, at least I'd like to see them in the playoffs or even a wild card game, just for the fans, because the fans have put up with so much stuff growing with quarterback changes all since day one. I know you have the Steelers picked first.
I do.
And state your fact about that.
Well, the 4th in offense, 6th in defense. They drafted well. I think Devin Bush is going to be the heir apparent to Ryan Shazier. They got Steve Nelson, cornerback. They brought in Mark Barron at linebacker. I really like James Conner. He everybody's trying to compare him to Bell. He rushed for 4.5 yards a carry last year. I mean, their offensive line's good. They're only paying one of the guys. I mean, Maurice Pouncey's the only guy on that team making money. David DeCastro and tackle Alejandro Villanueva, they haven't got their deals yet. But, Big Ben got that 2-year extension, $68 million. So he's averaging $34 million a year, second only to Russell Wilson. But they had the second fewest rushing attempts in the league last year, Pittsburgh. That's just so uncommon for them. Especially with an offensive line like that and a running back like they have, I would figure they would just try to hammer people. And I think this year, you'll see them get back to a much better run-to-pass ratio.
So you don't think Big Ben's going to throw 5,000 yards again this year?
No, career best, huh?
Yeah.
Led the NFL, too.
Yeah, so do you think probably lower,
Well, I just don't think they'll ask him to throw as much. I think their defense will be a little stouter. This new linebacker, I mean, the kid's definitely a playmaker, and I just think they have more of a professional approach to the game than Cleveland. I just can't see Cleveland with all those attitudes,
all those egos
just meshing. There's just every one of them's a look at me guy, kind of,
And that's one thing that the Steelers do not put up with.
No,
and
they get rid of any of those kind of guys. But, and I can see what people are thinking the additions that the Browns, brought in on that defensive line can move them up from the bottom half. But I don't know. I think it's just too soon for those guys. I think Pittsburgh's got more of old pros, more solid veterans than Cleveland does. And they've definitely played in more big games, so they know how to win them. Big Ben, say what you want. He's a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback right there.
Right.
There's not many of those guys hanging around these days.
Do you find the AFC North more competitive than it was last year with everything going on?
Yes. I mean, the fact that Baltimore won it last year, I think it's going to be more competitive this year, and the fact that I don't even have them winning it, or even the second place. Everybody has their darlings of the Browns, but I'm going to go with the old Steelers there, because I think their defense is just better than Cleveland's. And their offense is better, so we'll see. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fireworks.
Well, guys, this is our end of our AFC North preview show. Please follow us, like us on all platforms. Tell your friends about our podcast shows, guys. We won't be here without you guys, so I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to VIP SportsNet.